Yes,
This is an A4 sheet of paper.
that's right.
10 signatories per sheet. If Anthony Abad is out to get 8 million votes to satisfy the threshold of 8 million, this is the requisite of the People's Initiative, he will need 800,000 pieces of this A sheet. Nakita ko po yung nakakuha ko ng isang ream nito. This paper was imported from Indonesia. This is 70 GSM. I want to ask Anthony Abad. Kinuwenta ko po kung magkano Siguro about 1,500 something reams. ₱500,000 pesos, ito pala mong papel. Ipiprint mo ito, palagay mo na lang ₱2. 800,000 seats, that 1.6 million plus 500, that's about 2 million. Saan niya kinuha ni Anthony? Maybe we can ask questions directly from this guy. Hindi yung mga nakatakip ang mukha. They're so brave enough not to be able to expose their faces in the public. I'm sorry, Mr. Senate President, but I read your rules of evidence. If the substantive rights of people affected in this hearing, they should also be protected. How can we, for example, confront the accusers if they are all masked? Hindi po ganito. I am not defending the Speaker of the House of Representatives. I will repeat this. If this investigation will find out na siya po ang nagpondo, I will politely ask him to step down. Pero alimbawa po kung ito'y ginawa ni Anthony Abad out of exasperation, out of frustration, because I think for the longest time, the House of Representatives have been inviting the Senate to meet with us on a constituent assembly, and the Senate repeatedly refused us. This is on record, Madam Chair. Kahit kailan po hindi natin magagampanan, hindi natin magagamit yung isang modality to change the Constitution, which is the Constituent Assembly. Every time an invitation is issued to the Senate by the House, ang answer po, dead ma. Dead ma. So kailan po natin gagamitin ng Constituent Assembly? We cannot. It's impossible. Sa sinasabi ng Senate, well, ang dami pong Okay, bago kami makipag-meet sa inyo, you will have to agree that separate voting. Ganun po palagang nangyayari. Ito po ang nangyayari. Ako po matagal na sa Congress. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, Madam Chair, panahon pa po ni Speaker Belmonte, pinag-iisipan na natin to. Restrictive economic provisions, blah, 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 blah. But we never agree just to meet. Alam po ninyo, Madam Chair, ang pinag-uusap, mag-meet lang po tayo. Tsaka na po natin pag-uusapan kung yung 3/4 is voting separately or not.
Pero, yes, Madam Chair.
Pero
Yes,
wala
I
po
think
tayo.
Tama observation ni Attorney Marcoleta, but that cannot be forced. If the Senate does not want to amend the Constitution through a Constituent Assembly, the House cannot force it. Ganun lang po yun, as simple as that. So therefore,
no one is forcing, Senator.
precisely. So, there should be no complaint kasi we are two autonomous bodies. Ayaw nung isa makimit sa Constituent Assembly.
The complaint arises from the fact that you do not want to meet with us. So
Madam
ang
Chair.
question, how can we make use of that particular
Yes,
modality? It is the first modality.
Yes, that means that the present composition of both houses cannot avail of that mode kasi ayaw nga nung isang house makimit. So, ano na po yan? That's a political question, gamitin sa issue sa election. Pero our problem with the PI is yun na nga. Therefore, we suspected some politicians to be behind the PI because ang tinutumbok ng People's Initiative is the procedure sa Constituent Assembly.
That's right.
And changing the natural meaning of that section, Madam
correct.
Chair. So that's
and with all due respect
yan yung flow,
to
yes.
Congressman Marcoleta, that's likely a subject of another hearing and another meeting, and perhaps a more confident and benign meeting of the minds at another time.
Madam Chair, if I
Right
may.
now, I can see all my colleagues jumping out of their seats to contradict us, but let's not hijack this hearing. Let us
Correct.
proceed with the next witness, who has very kindly come from the province of Batangas. Yes po, Senator.
Madam Chair.
Salamat, Madam Chair.
Senate President, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Madam Chair.
Can I be
I've been
recognized, Madam
acknowledged
Chair?
by the Chair.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, may I proceed, Madam Chair?
Madam Chair.
May I proceed,
Madam
Madam
Chair.
Chair?
I'm sorry,
Chair.
I
It's
thought
all right.
the congressman
Madam Chair,
was
point of order.
escaping.
No.
Yes,
Thank you,
Senator
Madam Chair.
Ontiveros,
He should
Thank
listen
you, Madam
to us.
Chair.
I'm
I,
raising a point
should
of
listen
order,
to us,
Madam
huh?
Chair.
Madam Chair, if I may proceed. I've been acknowledged already.
As a priority, Madam Chair, under our rules. Madam Chair,
Yes, the point of order precedes all others. Yes, please,
I think,
Senator
Madam Chair, we should,
Tolentino.
Madam Chair, dagdag lang ko konti, Madam Chair. No? I just would like to react to the statement of Attorney Rodante Marcoleta. Congressman Marcoleta. Kung sinabi po niya, Madam Chair, na siya ay nasasaktan dahil para bang alluded to yung buong lower house na sila ang nasa likuran nitong People's Initiative. Ako rin ay nasasaktan when he alluded the Senate as the opposition palagi, dahilan kung bakit hindi natutuloy yung economic chacha. Ako po'y gusto ko iparating, Madam Chair, na in fact, during the last Congress, kaming dalawa ni Senator Tolentino, nag-file kami ng resolution for economic chacha. And nagbabago po yung composition ng Senado at pareho na rin sa lower house, nagbabago rin yung composition. So hindi po rin masabi na kung nag-oppose sila ngayon, mag-oppose na yan forever. Nagbabago po. Kami po ni Senator Tolentino, nag-file po ng resolution. Kaya masakit po sa amin kung sabihin niya, nilalahat niya na ang buong Senado ay ayaw sa chacha. Kami po, nag-propose. So, yun lang po. Gusto ko lang liwanagin, Madam Chair. Again, he is a good friend of mine, Congressman Marcoleta. There's nothing personal about it. Gusto ko lang iparating sa kanya yung mensahe na kami po ay pro-chacha rin, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa economic reforms.
Madam Chair,
Thank you po.
we can simplify this. Maybe we can have a stipulation. Can the Senate stipulate that of all the initiatives taken by the House to engage you as a constituent assembly, all these initiatives have been refused? Wala pa tayong, hindi pa po tayo
Madam
nag-meet.
Chair, as Senate President, as the leader of this institution, I can categorically state that we have not refused any measures. As a matter of fact, I filed last week RBH 6, which is to discuss economic provisions of the Constitution. So,
Only to change your mind 3 days later, Mr. Senate President.
did I ever say, for the record, did I ever say I am no longer pursuing this? Please cite the record that I said I will no longer pursue this.
Well, it's in the
Yes.
privileged speech I heard by
no.
one of you.
No. I'd like
They
to
are
correct
now-
misconception of my dear friend, Congressman Marcoleta. We are just fighting this PI first. Because this PI, this fake People's Initiative, is going to undermine the processes of voting during the discussions of constitutional change. Hindi po kami papayag na makapon ang Senado kasi mawawala po ang bicameralism that is stipulated 5 times in our Constitution and provides for the checks and balances of our institutions. Yun lamang po. Wala po tayong pinag-aawayan kundi itong PI kasi alam mo, sa totoo lang, Madam Chair, we're veering away from the topic here. But really quickly, kung yung People's Initiative, kung linagay po nila dyan, sino bang mga proponents dyan? Kung linagay ng pirma dyan to amend the, for example, public services to allow 100% foreign ownership, sa tingin ko walang gulo eh. Pati sa amin walang aalma. Yun ay napakasimple. that is a right given by the Constitution. Pero hindi. It's a very simple question to vote as one, but it is it is full of hidden meaning, and it will open a Pandora's box that we can no longer come out from. So, yun lamang po, Madam Chair. I just want to put for the record, we have not categorically said no to amendments to the Constitution. As a matter of fact, I met with the President, and he said, let's discuss the economic provisions and stop this PI. He told me this yesterday, and I'm saying this for the record again. I gave that speech in Congress as a personal and collective privilege, but I'll say it again. The President said, stop this PI, it's getting out of hand, and focus on discussions on the floor on how we can improve the Constitution through the amendments to the economic provision. Yun
Madam
lamang
Chair.
po. Yun lamang po.
Madam Chair, point of order.
Yes, thank you very much.
I listened
Senator
intently to the
Escudero.
distinguished chairperson when she enumerated the basis for this inquiry, which is basically PI. While I know this is a spirited debate that has been going on between the House and the Senate, and we have two excellent debaters here in the person of Congressman Marcoleta, Senator Bato, and SP Zubiri, this will have its proper time at another inquiry and meeting so that we can focus on the witness and also our
Resource
numerous resource persons who took the time out to be with us this morning. With the indulgence, of course, of my dear colleague and friend, Congressman Marcoleta.
I agree, Madam Chair. So, ang tinatanong ko lang po na kung meron tayong ma-stipulate, sapagkat totoo naman hindi pa tayo nag-meet as a constituent assembly. That is a fact. From all the invitations we had given to the Senate, wala pa pong nangyari doon. Ito po
Well
yung
taken
totoo.
po. Pag-usapan natin.
So, maaring ngayon po mangyari na. Pero ang sinasabi ko, for the longest time, the hands were extended to you to meet with us on a constituent assembly. Yung mag-usap lang tayo. And then
Marami
pag-usapan
pong
natin
magpoprotesta
kung
dyan,
voting
pero hayaan na
separately
po natin
or
at
voting
bigyan natin
jointly.
ng ibang
But let
pagkakataon.
the process to proceed. Yung
Tama.
mag-meet lang tayo, napakaganda na po sigurong simula yon.
Thank you.
Mr. Senate President, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you po.